Shavua Tov, a gute Woche. I want to tell story number 39 of the Shivchei Baal Shem Tov, the oldest recorded source of Baal Shem Tov stories, following the past few stories about Rabbi Yaakov Yosef of Polnoy, this big Talmid Chacham, this big Chassid, and how did he become so attached to the Baal Shem Tov. This story is called the Mochiach and the Rav of Polnoy. The Mochiach of Polnoy is Rabbi Yehuda Leib, who, we'll tell his story here. As the author of Dover of Lineage has been telling the stories about Rabbi Yaakov Yosef of Polnoy, he says, and the rest of the stories, the other stories I am telling here about Rabbi Yaakov Yosef, I heard from the Rav of our community, Moreinu Gedalia, our teacher Gedalia of blessed memory. So this is the source of the stories, who in turn heard from Rabbi Yaakov Yosef himself that the Mochiach was the first one in his peulos, in his workings, in his functions, the first one who influenced him, who brought him into the ideas of Hasidus. This Mochiach of Polnoy, Rabbi Yehuda Leib, came to Rabbi Yaakov Yosef, the author of the Toldos Yaakov Yosef, when he was the Rav of the community of Sharigrot. He came to spend Shabbos, to spend Shabbat with him, and asked to lodge by him. So Rabbi Yaakov Yosef did not leave the request unattended, meaning he accepted and hosted him. And then the Mochiach asked to make a minyan in his house, in Rabbi Yaakov Yosef's house, to daven, to pray there. To this, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef consented, but he himself would go to the synagogue and pray there. By Shabbos afternoon, the Mochiach went to give the drasha and asked that Rabbi Yaakov Yosef would come and listen to his drasha, to his preaching, his sermon. To this, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef said yes, he came, and it says literally, Hilbish bedrasha, he dressed up in his speech, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef, from the bottom of his feet to the top of his head. Meaning that in his speech, he touched the subjects, the topics, the ideas that were related to each element of the personality of Rabbi Yaakov Yosef, and touched the innermost of his thoughts in perfect order, as he was thinking, as he was proposing the ideas. Rav Yehuda Leib, the Mochiach of Polnoy, mentioned this in the speech. To this, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef said to himself, this isn't but a Navi, a prophet. How else would he know, all of my thoughts? And became attached to him, became a follower, and immediately Rabbi Yaakov Yosef asked the people of the shul to come down for a Shalishidus, for a Seudah Shalishis, for the third meal of Shabbos. The way in which he did this became strange to the people of town, because they knew of Rabbi Yaakov Yosef not being a follower of Hasidim, and he was doing the Shalishidus, the Seudah Shalishis, the third meal of Shabbos, in a way in which Hasidim set it up in the synagogue with all the oil and with the whole public. Later, when Rabbi Yaakov Yosef became strengthened in his ways of tzidkus, of righteousness, it says in here, and started following the customs and the manners of the minhagim, the customs of Hasidim, as he started behaving that way, the people of the town of Sharigrot became increasingly opposed to him, developed this rejection, this machlokas, this argument against him. It grew to the point that the Jews of the city of Shaligrot expelled Rabbi Yaakov Yosef shortly before Shabbos. He was forced to spend Shabbos in a village nearby. Couldn't go very far, didn't want to travel on Shabbos, so came to a nearby village and spent Shabbos there. Meanwhile, the Baal Shem Tov saw this from a distance and told his Hasidim, let's go to that village. There is trouble, there is tzores there. Let's go and meet with the Rab of the community of Shaligrot. We are going to help him in his tzores. We're going to help him. Livkoach means to open up, to solve his problem. And so they did. Also the Mochiach of Polnoy came with them. They all came to the city, to the village near Shaligrot to meet Rabbi Yaakov Yosef. Already Shabbos, they pray, I guess, in the local shul, and after the tefillah of Musaf, Shabbos day, they saw that the Mochiach, the Mochiach saw that the Rav, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef, felt very sorry. So the Mochiach came to him and said, don't worry. I would think it's in Yiddish telling him, no, nicht gefährlich, don't worry so much, don't feel so bad. I heard a cruise from above, I heard a herald, an announcement from heaven. So and so, who hates you, who's been making trouble against you, he shall be murdered. And so, who's been preaching against you, who's hating you, he will die on the highway. And the whole city will burn in a fire. When the Baal Shem Tov heard these words, he yelled at the Mochiach of Polnoy. And he told him, Shoite, fool, you too hear cruising from above? Then the Mochiach shut up. He did not speak a word. The story is really this short. Even though the Mochiach is the one who brings Rabbi Yaakov Yosef to the Baal Shem Tov, the Baal Shem Tov wants people to be humble and not to have this game of pretending to be tzaddikim. We want to bring people to be real tzaddikim. We don't play again. Well, I just gave my interpretation to the story. I should just give them as they are. I am in the process of translating all these stories into Spanish, as this has never been done. And I appreciate the help to dedicate the time to do this, and for the eventual edition and publication of the whole book for the first time ever in Spanish. My Patreon as well as my PayPal links will be down in the description. Come back next week. Shavua Tov. A gute Woche.